Hello and welcome. Now, I've actually downloaded another two Northern Ireland maps, and this is one of the two. I'm going to show you around them both. Both these are ones I played in earlier versions of Farming Simulator, and I went on a mission a couple of days ago looking for some of the earlier version maps, see if they had been converted across, and I was pleasantly surprised to discover this one had been. So this map here, which is called Greenwich Valley Farm, okay, but we'll have a bit of a look around this one. Now this one's definitely being added to my permanent collection. I'll have another video coming out shortly with the other Northern Ireland map I downloaded. Now I did post a comment the other day that means I've now got half a dozen Northern Ireland maps downloaded, and if I put them end to end I must just about have the whole of Northern Ireland mapped out on Farming Simulator now. But seriously, I can't think of any other area in the world where there's so many maps for one country as comparative to the amount of land mass that country has in real life. So obviously, there's a lot of North American maps out there, but there's an awful lot of land in North America. So for number of maps for the size of the country, I don't think it would even come close to these Northern Ireland maps. But anyway, we'll have a look around Greenwich Valley here, and now the first thing is most maps have a village or a town in them, and they have to have that really, because otherwise how do you have a vehicle dealership and some sell points without having a village somewhere? It's a bit hard to have a vehicle dealership in particular without having a village. Now this map's a wee bit different, and it's got 4 villages in this map. So down here you've got Ballygreen, down at the bottom here you've got Linton, here you've got Whitney, and here you've got Strayed. See, there's 4 villages on this map, and we will go and have a look at all of them. So I apologise in advance if this video is a wee bit longer than most of mine are. It'll probably take about half an hour because I want to show you all of the villages on this map. So I apologise this video is going to be a wee bit longer than I would normally have for a video. Anyway, let's go and have a look. Okay. So we're leaving Wednesday Stores here. Now this map was made by Greenwich, and Greenwich is probably more famously known for another map he did called the Northern Coast, which is also a Northern Ireland map, but it's one that I didn't really go for, the Northern Coast, so I haven't downloaded that one. Now if we come up here, I just want to show you something at this I'll put on my indicator because I'm going to turn here. I want to show you something here at these road signs first here. So if we have a look here, the car will have to wait. So we've got Ballygreen that way, which is the way we're going to be headed. Ballygreen can also be accessed by going that way. And Ballyclare going back that way. Now Ballyclare isn't actually on the map. This map has absolutely seamless borders. You can't tell the borders are there until you hit them. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a map with the borders done as seamlessly as this one. But you may recall that I mentioned in an earlier video that Bally or Ballin in Northern Ireland means the place of. So here, you've got 2 more Bally places, Ballygreen and I don't remember what the other one was now, but there were 2 on those signs. Only one you can actually access, and of course I've already got 2 maps downloaded. I've got Ballincraig and Bally Springs. That would mean the place of springs, presumably, in the place of craigs or something. So you can turn there to go to Ballygreen, but we're going to go this way first. Now this map, as far as I'm aware, originally came out on FS19. Certainly if it was out on earlier versions, FS19, in fact I know for certain it was FS19 because this one came out when they had that mod contest. This one was an entry in the mod contest. So FS19 was the first version of Farming Simulator to have this map. I'm very, very pleased to see that someone bought it across to FS22. Now when this map came out for FS19, it was available on PC or console, and pretty much the only difference I could see between the two, if I turn around here and indicate here, on the console version This was just a takeaway place with no name on it or anything. On the PC version, it was a KFC. And so I've downloaded the PC. Well, I assume only the PC version's been ported across to FS22, I would assume. But even in FS19, you've got the drive-through lane here. I used to play on the PC version because you had the KFC there, which I rather liked. So, now if we head out this way, and I'll just indicate to go here. And we're going to go around the roundabout here. There we go. Yeah, one of the things I really like about this map, well, I mean, I love the fact it's got the 4 different villages, and we will be going into Ballygreen in a second. I'm just going a slightly different way to get there. So if I turn, no, it's not there, it's just up here a wee bit further. There's a very, very narrow lane up here that we're going to go down in a second. It's very easy to miss to turn off because it's such a narrow little lane. Oh, there it is. So, if we turn down here, so this map does have traffic, but it doesn't necessarily go down every single road. And here you'll see one of the things I love about this map is when you go into any of the villages, there's traffic parked on the sides of the road. It can make it very, very interesting trying to navigate these lanes in tractors with farm equipment on the back to get to different fields. So we're now in the village of Ballygreen, and the village that we drove through at the start was Linton, so you didn't really miss anything in Linton, so we're not going to go back there. We're now in Ballygreen here. So you can see it's a nice little village. Up there there's a section where it's got working traffic lights and things, and there's a section where they've got one half of the lane blocked off for some roadworks, and they've got traffic lights. Oops, obviously I pulled a wee bit too far out of the intersection. There's nice traffic lights to direct the traffic going each way, and the AI traffic does actually obey the traffic lights. So there you can see a nice park there. Yeah, you can see it's just a small little village, but it gets across the feeling of an Irish village or an English village very, very well, I think. Now, we're going to turn here. I want to show you something that I added into this game. So this was not in the map already, this paddock was, but if we just stop here, what I did with this village is, in New Zealand we have a thing called A&P shows, which are agriculture and produce, and so a lot of the tractor dealers and things will come along to show off their latest wares and all this. Now, in real life, they'd probably bring along tractors like this, tractors of the right size to suit the area, rather than this big huge equipment that doesn't suit the area to display. But I wanted to display some of these big tractors because I never play big maps, so I just never ever get a chance to look at these big tractors or drive them if I didn't have them on something like this. So yeah, I've chosen to put some big farm equipment at the same P show, even though obviously no farmer in the area is going to buy a tractor of that size. They might buy one of that size, but they wouldn't buy some of these bigger ones because there just wouldn't be the need for it with such small paddocks. And as you can see, I've got 4 different tractor dealers advertising here. There's Case over there, there's Class next to them, there's New Holland here, and there's John Deere here. So yeah, I've got 4 different tractor dealers that are all displaying their wares at this A&P show, and they've all got the flags as well as the vehicles. And as I said, this paddock was already a paddock on the map, obviously, but there was no A&P show like that on this map, so I have added that in. I really, really like it, so it'll stay in there. And I had that in FS19 when I was originally playing this map as well. We'll go this way. Okay, now after I've shown you all 4 villages, then I think we might, actually I want to go the other way, so I'll just go around the roundabout and go back. Sorry about that. I'll show you my farm as well. Now you will have to ignore the amount of money I've got there at the moment. I haven't quite finished setting up this farm, which is why I've still got, it's ran a red light, but I don't care. That's why I've got so much money. So when I find a map I like, what Well, I start by just grabbing any base vehicle that's in a game, because I'll load a map with absolutely zero mods, and I'll load a base vehicle, normally that little red side by side, and just run around the map and have a look at stuff and decide whether or not I like the map. And if I do, then what I do is I load the mods I want to use for that map, and I cheat some money in using the just adding it in the actual game program thing. So I give myself between 4 and 6 million. Then I go and set up the farm the way I want it. Now once I'm happy with the way I want it to start with, then so I've got all the starting equipment that I want to use. Remember, my starting equipment's normally pretty small equipment anyway, so it's nothing huge or outrageous. But once I've got my starting equipment there and the paddocks I want to own to begin with, then I take all the money out and I start with $10,000 and normally a $200,000 overdraft. So that's the starting position I like: 10,000 cash, 200,000 overdraft. But because I haven't quite finished setting up this farm yet, I've still got the remainder of the 4 million or so that I cheated in there. But once I've set up the game I wanted and changed it back to 10,000 and 200,000, then I don't cheat in any more money in the game. And if I decide I want to own more paddocks or anything like that, then I have to do it by actually saving the money to buy it. So this township here is Whitney. Okay. Now, as I said to you, this map's quite seamless. Like right there, that's actually a border to the map. And if you drive along here, I'm going to hit a thing in a second. Oh no, this road's... I thought you couldn't go down that road, but you can. I will show you some of the borders, because the borders on this map are absolutely seamless. Okay, we turn around there, and down there is the dairy that sends the milk tanker to pick up our milk. In fact, we'll go down there actually. So the timber yard is there, and this here is the dairy. Oh, in fact, we'll go straight along here first, because this is definitely a border along here. I just want to show you what I mean about the completely seamless borders. Just drive along here. There's nothing to suggest that you're about to hit the edge of the map until... Wait, one has a string of trees there, so that might be where the border is, I think. Yep, there you go. I can't go any further than that. But you're just driving along perfectly happily and contently, and there's nothing to suggest that you're about to hit the edge of the map. And I really, really like maps that are done like that with absolutely seamless borders. So we'll head back this way. And so in here, so what I generally do with most of my maps is I have the automatic milk sale mod downloaded. And the reason for that is because in real life you wouldn't have to drive around every paddock with cows and pick up the milk from each paddock separately, because the cows will be taken down to the milking shed. And because you can't sort of do that in this game, I have the automatic milk sale, so it just sells all the milk. But then what I normally do is, if they have a dairy like this map does, I'll have a milk tanker there, and I'll drive the milk tanker to go and pick up the milk from the farm and bring it back here, even though in reality it's not picking up any milk because the milk is automatically selling. I just like to drive the milk tanker down, and yes, I'm aware the farmer wouldn't be the one driving the milk tanker, but yeah, it's just something that I enjoy doing. So I generally do if I have a decent dairy on a map, I will download a milk tanker and drive it down to pick up the milk. So coming back through this village again, run over that deer. Now you can't turn left here, or you can, but again you will hit a map border just as you leave the town here somewhere. I'm not sure, a wee bit further along, because there's the BGA, and I think the map border is just about here somewhere. Yep, right there. Yeah. And so as you can see, you just cannot see those borders until you hit them. Now if we go back this way, so I've got one more village to show you. I've shown you 3, and then we'll go and have a look at my farm on this map. You'll also notice there's bus stops in all 4 villages on this map, which is quite good because it means that you can, if you want to do a bus driving job and drive a bus around the map, sort of thing, you can. There's also a really nice B&B on this map, although I don't think I have time to show that to you at this stage. But you can just see it's an absolutely beautiful map, especially considering this is actually an FS19 map. It's not even, it wasn't originally made for FS22, it was made for FS19. But yeah, I really, really like the work that Greenwich did on this map. As I said, he's more well known, I think, for his map called Northern Coast, but I personally prefer this one over the Northern Coast. I just love this little Irish map here. So cruise down here. Now, I've deliberately done the villages in the order I have so that we can go and look at my farm afterwards. Get over here, and we're just about at the village now. Here we go. Oh, such a long line of cars there. I'm guessing they must have all got stuck behind a slower vehicle like a tractor or something. Look at them all. Millions of the suckers. If I don't stop soon, I'm just going to have to make a run for it. Oh no, there we go. Okay. So, here's another village. Oh, there you can see Mod Contest 2019 on the left. So we're now up at Strayed. Now, Strayed is an interesting little village, and then it's got roadworks going on here as well, and there's detour going on. So you have to follow the detour, and it tells us to turn there. Now, if you look at the map, you'll see that it actually goes out 2 blocks, but again, that's actually a border. So if I try and drive this way, there you go, it doesn't even go any further than that. But again, it's a really, really well done, seamless border, which is why the detour takes us down this block, because the other block's actually off the map. And there you go, we've just detoured around the roadworks, but we're actually going to have to go back that way because, well, I can get to the back of the farm by going this way, but I want to show you from the front of the farm. We enter from the front and things. So, back out here. Now, the farm, when we get to it, I've actually done very, very little in the way of modifications to this yard. The whole farmyard was just so perfect, just the way that Greenwich designed it. I've modified it very slightly, but like some of mine I've modified to beyond all recognition pretty much, and this is not one of those ones. So we head down here. There we go. Now, if I turn here, okay, oh, I'll stop here for a minute. So hop out here, go and have a look. I'll climb the gate here. This is my sheep pasture. It's an absolutely huge sheep pasture. What does it say? Just go and have a look. Sheep pasture, sheep pasture. So it's this one here, this paddock right there. But to put it into perspective for you, that sheep pasture, which I made this into a sheep pasture myself, but it holds, oh, it doesn't tell me there. I thought it would. Well, I think it tells me if I go to buy another sheep. So if I go over to here, I'll try and buy one. Well, there you go. I could fit 485 sheep in this one pasture. No, I only have 50 there at the moment. So we'll head back over here. Now you may have noticed there was no food in the trough yet. Again, that's something else I have to do before I finish and change my money back to the 10k again. So we go along a bit here a bit further. off to here, there's a footpath on the side of the road here. This is where all my cow pastures are. And rather than opening all the gates and driving through them, we might just go for a quick walk. So there's a huge paddock here. You can't even see the end of it. There's another huge paddock here. They're both cow paddocks. And then wandering along here, we might actually jog, just make it a bit faster. Let's have a look. This here is the third paddock of cows, and down along here is the fourth one. So this is the fourth paddock of cows. So yeah, I've got 4 paddocks of cows. I've got 20 in each. So I've got 80 dairy cows on this farm, and I could easily have 20 in each because they are such huge paddocks. I may even end up increasing that to 25 each later on, but at the moment I'm okay with 20. Now, so let's get back to my tractor there. Okay. Back out here, head down a wee bit further to the actual farm itself. And here's my farm. I put a farm shop in the gate there. And we can drive up here. So all this is exactly how it is on the map. One thing I did change was all this yard here was all in gravel, but I changed all that to dirt with some weeds growing through here and there, just to kind of give it a more old rustic look. Got sacks of chicken feed there. I put this shed here in. That was just a silo pit, and I wanted to change it to a shed for storage. I've got a cow barn there. I've got a tractor shed over here that people can see in. And then up between these two, we run up here. This was meant to go to just another paddock. I have put trees in it. I've turned it into an orchard of sorts, although I think my trees might be spaced too far apart, so I might have to go at redoing that at some point. Because yeah, I think my trees are too far apart. I'm sorry if I'm walking a bit wonky and things. I'm actually kind of struggling to keep my eyes open at the moment. It's been a very long day and a very early start for me. All this rubbish that's put around the farmyard, I've put all that there. And yes, I'm very aware that AK would hate me for filling my yard full of rubbish and the like, but I happen to like it. This is a water tank. It's actually a milk tank, but I'm using it as a water tank. Sorry, the other way around, sorry. I'm using this as the milk tank, the milk storage tank. And I do wish I had a shed or a roof just the right size to go over it to keep the sun off it. Unfortunately I don't, so I've got to live with that. But in real life this is a diesel tank, but I don't want to use it as diesel when I want to use it as a milk tank. And down there I've got a couple of paddocks to mow. Now each paddock that can be mown has, this one at least has lampposts in the middle of it, 2 of them. The other one has a huge power pylon, a big metal pylon. Both the paddocks I mow regularly. One interesting thing about this map actually that I'll show you, and they used to do this a lot with the older maps, but I haven't seen it with newer maps, where the stuff that's in the middle of the paddock is actually only visually there, and it doesn't actually have crash physics on it. So when you're mowing that paddock, for example, if you don't want the hassle of mowing around lamp posts and power poles and the like, you could just drive through them with the tractor. The tractor will let you, but I prefer the going around them. And I've got more storage in this side of the bunker here, more storage here. Sorry, as I start struggling to get my eyes open at the moment, I'm sorry. So this is the gate into this paddock. I've got the horse float under the tree. I've got a couple of horses in this paddock. So there you go, that one is Tic Tac, and somewhere there's another horse called Jelly Bean. So that's my two horses here, Tic Tac and Jelly Bean. So now, you notice that I've got the bales, size bales there. I've gone, I see what I've done. I've just shortcut it around here and go back to my Land Rover there. So that's my farmyard, and I'll give you a bit of an aerial view of it. As I said, it's pretty much exactly how it came on the map, except that I've replaced that middle part of the yard that was all gravel with mud and dirt and weeds growing in it, and I've put a shed up where that silage bunker was there. Otherwise that's pretty much exactly as it was done by Green Bale, and I've got the 4 cow paddocks on the other side of the road there. None of those were cow paddocks. The only cow place on this whole farm was that paddock right there, so I've added in those other ones. And that's my farm on the Greenwich map. In this map, as I said, it takes a while to drive around. I think it's only a 2x2 map still, but because it has narrow roads and has 4 villages and you have to slow right down through the villages, it does take a while to navigate this map still. So this is the bigger one of the two, and I've got to go and organise a couple of things that my wife wants me to do before dinner time, and then after I've done that I will return and I will do another video on the other Irish map that I downloaded for you all to check out. Thank you very much, and goodbye for now.